Hi. So we start with the GS paper 4. This is the ethics paper, uska analysis. And as you are aware that this is, I mean, it is not. It is more of the paper has its own, uh, your own ability to understand the paper ki sawal and your own opinion, your own character or persona is shown in the paper. So we will go by as the question is. I'll just run through the ek bari, the question paper and. No change in as such pattern वही section दो section में आए हैं and they have you know they have in section and they have one A question about digital age ethical dilemmas in communication digital media. Then one B is constitutional morality, and second A question is Karl von Clauset's war is about diplomacy by other means critically analyze. Then second B says keeping the national security in mind, examine the ethical dilemmas and related to the controversies over environmental clearance for development project. Three may they have three quotation of great thinkers, Tiruvalluvars, those who in trouble, untroubled are will trouble itself. Then 3B is the greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitudes. William James. 3C is the strength of a society is not in its laws but in the morality of its people. Swami Vivekananda. Then 4A for any kind of social re-engineering by successfully implementing welfare schemes, a civil servant must use reason and critical thinking in an ethical framework. 4B, what is the major teaching of Mahavir? Explain the relevance in the contemporary world. 150 words. 5A, one who is devoted into one's duty, attains highest perfection in life. Analyze the statement with responsibility and fulfillment of a civil servant. To achieve holistic developmental goal, a civil servant act as an enabler and active facilitator of growth rather than regulator. 6A, it is clear that for ethical work culture, there must be code of ethics in place in every organization to ensure value-based and compliance-based work culture. 6B, India is an emerging economic power and secure this large economy in IMF projection. However, some sectors allocation report or remain underutilized or misutilized. So, what specific measures you recommend for ensuring? It's another 150 words. Section B, we have case study one on Vijay as a deputy commissioner at a remote hilly northeast area. And next case study is about director principal of state policy. Another third case study is about Subhas as a secretary PWD in the state government. Fourth case study is about Rajesh as a group A officer in oil public sector. Fifth case study we have Mahatma Gandhi and MJNRA, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantees Program. And sixth case study we have on Ashok as a divisional commissioner and in the Northeast state. So there are conditional questions to each of them. 20 marks, four questions like it is broken. So uh now these papers, I mean, it's not that everybody can write something and come back around it. But how do we actually qualitatively enrich or qualitatively how do we qualitatively actually use this? So I'll just quickly run through my deck. So here, ethics is a different paper than all the paper 1 to 3 what we have spoken. Here we go by question analysis, a little bit of trend analysis, little bit of framework wise, although it may not be always useful. And what should be the high scoring, something which enjoys the reader or the person who's going to read the exam paper will enjoy and what should be our strategy for people who are preparing now. Now, that there is a in this particular paper, uh, it shows that 40% increase in questions on digital ethics and environmental dilemmas compared to 2022, signaling UPSC's emphasis on contemporary challenges. So one of the first observation is the okay, we are stuck. So what we see that ethical foundation is maintained, constitutional morality and ethical framework पे questions है, attitude and values, growing importance of philosophical quotation and contemporary application, ये एक pattern है, and heightened focus on administrative ethics and development dilemmas, ये question and case study both है. Here it shows that around increase in this digital ethics and environmental dilemmas, which shows that कि contemporary जो भी news में आता है, those articles where Better India shows various civil service servants doing multiple social development works on various field, वो सारा चीज यहाँ पे आता है. अगर हम फ्रेमवर्क देखें तो बड़ा ही डायरेक्टिव काइंड ऑफ वर्ड्स भी है, डिस्कस एग्जामिन इवेलुएट एंड लाइक दैट. तो आप इसको बड़े you can actually right away target what they're asking and what you're delivering. First question जो है, it is about digital age and social media has evolutionized our way of communication and interaction. Several ethical issues. Describe key ethical dilemmas. 10 मार्क का है. So you see saying describe करना है, limited to ethical dilemma only हमें बात करनी है और उससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं. आप देखिए सोशल मीडिया रेवोल्यूशन को बताए, टेल अबाउट द सोशल मीडिया रेवोल्यूशन, मेंशन द ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन इट इज ब्रिंग द सोसाइटी एंड द एथिकल पैराडॉक्स. 4 or 5 dilemmas can be with the brief explanation can be written over here, and a balanced navigation how things work, the way it approach how it affects your daily routine, all those kind of thing. And anybody can hide their identity and speak, and what kind of imbalance or fake news, all that thing you can talk about various things. Then use of technology for cheating and all that. So it is from the ethics in public and private relationship. So you can actually talk about data privacy, fake news, algorithm bias affecting democratic process worldwide, including India's digital India initiative. अगर आप प्राइवेसी की और कन्वीनियंस की बात करें, एनोनिमिटी वर्सेस अकाउंटेबिलिटी, डीप फेक्स, एल्गोरिथम बायस, डिजिटल डिवाइड, यूटिलिटेरियन डियोंटोलॉजिकल व्यूज, ये सब आप पे बात करें रूरल डिवाइड, तो इट काइंड ऑफ गिव्स अ ग्रेट पिक्चर कि पूरा इंडिया को आपने कंसिडर किया. कमिंग टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोरालिटी फॉर पब्लिक सर्वेंट्स. It's saying it is not a natural sentiment but product of civil education and adherence of rule of law, and constitutional for public servant highlighting the promoting good governance and ensuring accountability in public. यहाँ पे बताया जा रहा है एग्जामिन करना है. द की वर्ड ओवर हियर इज एग्जामिन द significance for public servant and role of governance. So basically, it is trying to say that nobody can learn it as a classroom, but it is coming within. So you talk about define the morality, reference this quote and thesis of the statement, say various significance for public and servants, role in governance and accountability, importance in Indian context. It is a part of the probity in governance, and you can talk cases of Ambedkar speeches and Supreme Court judgments, Naved Johar case or ARC reports, whatever you can quote in, add in, and judicial current relevance is connecting to ongoing judicial reforms and civil service conduct rules. So it has been a historical revision. Next question is war as a diplomacy by other means. Was critical analysis present of fundamental demand says that we have to critically analyze. Okay, this is that is both side of argument we have to talk and this thing. The approach would be not talk about the code set, the contemporary context. One part of the body is about in the support, another in the about in the arguments challenging it. Then kind of have a balanced outlet as per the international order right now. So see that we are more on the contemporary rather than giving the background of war history and all that thing. You may get in flow, but see the time bound. That's the time bound. So you can talk about hybrid wars, hybrid attack, economic sanctions as modern war tools, Ukraine-Russia war, and U.S.-China tensions or Middle East conflict currently. Gray zone warfare as contemporary extension. So that you can talk about. Next is ethics of development in sensitive areas, keeping national security and controversy and environmental clearance of development projects. So that was state of has impact on national security imperatives, environmental protection, and local communities. See, you have to talk about this. At least identify 4 5 dilemmas with prevention of competing value. एक बैलेंस अप्रोच के हिसाब से एथिकल फ्रेमवर्क यूटिलिटेरियन राइट बेस्ड एंड वर्च्यू एथिक्स पे बात करें तो यू कैन टॉक अबाउट द चार धाम हाईवे एक्सप्रेस अरुणाचल प्रदेश बॉर्डर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर नॉर्थ डिजिटल आइडर पावर प्लांट application of value based ethical principle and concrete. So yeah, next question is the three quotes of people going. First is Tiruvalluvar's quote, where it says, "Those who in trouble, untrouble are, will trouble itself." Tiruvalluvar. Now here it is about emotional resilience and mental fortitude during adversity. So you have to talk about the trouble, the quote, then the impact in current world when scenario it is applicable, what kind of personality, mental balance, emotional intelligence. You can also take Bhagavad Gita to quote and how it is relevant for civil society, civil servant who are of the responsibility of delivering, the national or the constitutional promises. Ah, so it is a part of the attitude and foundational value for civil services. Another next quote was by William James. The greatest discovery of my generation, the human being can alter life by altering their attitudes. So, what is the meaning of this quote? Then it is contemporary relevance and what is as per public service application. So, you need to add few things. Yatha drishti, tatha srishti kind of thing. And likhoge, if you write only, then it will come. Framing and expression of your answers with quote with examples is very important. Without example, no, these things will remain have. It is as if without any condiments. So you have to add those suitable examples, which shows that you're understanding the quote with depth. Similarly, the Vivekananda's question, it is of internal moral compass of citizen is more fundamental to societal strength than external legal framework. So contemporary context, you see how ethically, how we bend rules and ethical foundations are coercive and things like that. So it's there in the GS4 syllabus. You can start with a quote and Vivekananda's vision for India, relationship between laws and morality, our moral foundation, and strengthen democratic institution. Challenges when law outpaces moral development and application to public service ethics. It's a good this thing. Next is ethical framework for social reengineering. Okay, this question is reason and critical thinking, ethical framework, implementation exercise. आपका अप्रोच होना चाहिए सोशल इंजीनियरिंग के ऊपर बात करें explain an ethical framework matter and justify the statement with 2 3 examples showing how this actually works in and ethics are led to successful outcomes. डीबीटी एक बेनिफिट है आप उसका कोट कर सकते हैं and how it has empowered the uh, citizen who were earlier unable to get the benefit from the government. Next is Mahavir's teaching. Again, here it is. We know that key teachings आपको याद होगा तो आप उसको लिख दीजिए. and then उसको accountability relevance दीजिए as per the what is happening in this world, and that's enough for the thing. Duty of the highest station. So you in discussion of civil servant as enabler and facilitator. So here how he acts as an enabler and active facilitator of growth rather than a regulator. What specific measures? So now you we can suggest about participatory governance, regulatory simplification, capacity building, technology leverage, public-private partnerships, outcome orientation. These are a few things on basis on which you can write down your answer, and also include certain programs which are like Ati Shakti, very important. You know, it needs a huge lot of people to work together towards implementation. So next question. See all this I am giving you open hint. आपको लिखना है, आपको लिख के भेजना है। आप क्या लिख के भेजोगे, उसके बेसिस पे हम इवैल्यूएशन करेंगे। मैं जो कह रहा हूँ ये भी एक पार्ट है, मतलब आप ऐसे भी लिख सकते हैं, बट यही पार्ट है ऐसा नहीं। स्पेशली एथिक्स, एथिकल वर्क कल्चर एंड कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट, कोड ऑफ एथिक्स, इसमें आप you talk about various audits, various organizational accountability system, how things are there for various groups and all that thing which is being in news, stakeholder partnerships, and you talk about the training and certification, uh, POSH, all that thing which is there in the effective workplace or clear workplace case upset. Next question is ensuring accountability in fund utilization. India is emerging this thing and IMF projection how it is observed in that sector. Allocated funds remain either underutilized or misutilized. What specific measures would you recommend for ensuring accountability in this regard to stop leakages and gains in the future? Here again, 10 marks. Ke. So, firstly, you see what is the system of budgeting, क्या impact change कर सकता है, technology monitoring, audits create करना, capacity building of the staff, and then it is a very strategic based kind of thing. You just cannot talk ये step 1, step 2, step 3. As per these places, see, wherever the misutilization or fund allocation has been wrong, it is wrong from the inception. The scenario or pattern has changed. That's why it is sounding wrong. जब वो शुरू हुआ था तब it was relevant, but when it kept on adding to the budget, then उसका relevance ही कम हो गया. It needs to change in the pattern, identification of the target. ये सारी चीजें public policy वाली जरूरत पड़ सकती है. तो you have to look at that. Now coming to the case study wise, पहला केस स्टडी एक पर्सनल क्राइसिस पे है. सी आई एम नॉट गिविंग एनी आंसर एज सच, बट ये सब मैं चाहूंगा कि all of you write and send it to me, and so that I evaluate that ways, because these answer would as leave as these are my way of thinking, and it should not influence you right away. And similarly for case study of housing development and forest conservation का है, so you can use how things have happened in the past. एक पीडब्ल्यूडी सेक्रेटरी का इंटीग्रिटी चैलेंज है, उस पर क्वेश्चन है. So how you should take over and things manage the scenario. And एक एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ऑफिसर रॉयल इंडिया कंपनी का है, उसके चैलेंजेस हैं और उसके साथ में क्या एरियाज है, क्या वो कर सकता है. तो यू कैन क्रिएट अ स्केच आउट ऑफ योर थॉट्स एंड देन अंडरस्टैंड. एक एम जी एन आर का है, तो वहाँ पे भी अगेन व्हाट आर दी थिंग्स विच यू हैव इन योर हैंड एंड व्हाट इज दैट यू कैन डू. आप उसको लिखो स्टेक होल्डर मैनेजर, उसी हिसाब से उसका आंसर करो. एंड द बॉर्डर क्राइसिस मैनेजमेंट अगेन, जहाँ पे north state where the military rule has come in nearby. So how things here, what are the options in your hand, what are the dilemmas, why they people will go towards that side, and all the challenges, how to do record management, documentation, identification of one people. ये सारी चीजें आपको जाननी पड़ सकती है. So none of them I am giving you answer. These are all hint areas, because how you are thinking, that is the paper's ethical test. That is what uh, answer evaluator will understand from your test. So it is better to write it and submit it for evaluation, and accordingly we can understand and gauge your preparation for this or your thinking pattern for this. With this, the uh, I end my today's uh, evaluation for GS papers, and I would like you to, you know, my honest submission is that without writing, without handwriting, without understanding your way, your representing expression in that QCA question come answer booklet, we cannot gauge how it has been your performance. So if you are trying, if you are wanting to know what you have written and all, I would suggest write summary of things with you, so that when the marks come, then you know that okay, I did this much, or this is what I wrote, and this is what the way I wrote. If you can do it right away, that will help you to improve in your next attempt. But if you do it next analysis, automatically brain kind of feeds you कि I've given the best, मैंने तो बहुत अच्छा लिखा था, उन्होंने ही मार्क नहीं दिया. So it's better to write away right now as a pointers and keep it in a QCA kind of a format. That way it will be very helpful if you can do that. Little hard work, especially for people who are feeling that their performance is not yet up to the mark. एंड देन मैं इमीडिएटली एग्जाम खत्म होते ही शुरू हो जाऊंगा करना, फिर एक साल करता रहूंगा और फिर बहुत बढ़िया होगा, ऐसा नहीं होता है. यू हैव टू फर्स्ट give it a create a space of feedback for yourself. Figure out your mistakes. For that you need to know what you have done now. तो आपने जो अगर जो पेपर अभी दे के आए and watching this analysis, put it in a note what you have done, what you have submitted, so that when और फिर आप उसका evaluation देखना कि जो आपको marks मिलता है whether it's up to your performance or you missed out somewhere. And let's be honest in this journey, because there's no other thing. You're not impressing any institute or anything. You're writing for the exam to get it in the get an interview call, or the interview आए तो marks should be enough for you to be in the final list. So with that, I close today's session. Thank you so much. We have the language paper remaining and the optional paper. All those people who are giving this attempt, all the best. And I look forward for your comments and feedback in that. And all the details to reach me out are there in the description box. Thank you again. Bye bye.